How you doing, everybody? My name is James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. All right, hold up. I've got some. My buddy gave me some watermelon. I loves me some watermelon. All right. Yeah, this story I'm finna tell today is a kind of touching story to me, and I told it a long time ago. The story of Miss Gloria. Yes, Miss Gloria was a dear friend of mine. A dear friend of mine. She was older in her 60s and something like that. But we used to talk all the time. She loved her dogs. She had a couple of dogs at the house that she used to talk about all the time. She loved those dogs. Well, anyway, she worked in room service. This is when I worked at the hotel, okay? She worked in room service, okay? And we all used to go to room service and sit down at the table, and she used to fix us up. She used to fix us choice meats and everything. So she used to hook us up exclusively, just us. And it was real good. It was real good. So along down the line, some drinks started coming up missing. Everybody was wondering where the drinks were going and how were they getting out of the building, you know. But I never suspected that it could be her. I had no clue. So then the managers had a meeting, and I was a manager myself, so I was included in it. And they said in the meeting, James, you work on a night shift, so you're gonna be our point man. You're going to find out if Gloria is taking drinks out. So that's the first time I got an inkling that it may be her. So that night I went back to work, and I got out of the camera's sight and stuff like that. And I told Gloria, I said, come over here. She came over there, and I proceeded to tell her, look, if you taking drinks out of here, you know, I said, hear me out first. Because she was getting upset when I said that. So I said, look, if you're taking them out, stop, okay? Stop. All right? Because at this point, you're under investigation. I told her. I warned her not to do it. If she's taking anything, to stop, okay? So, so she finally said, okay, I got you. So after that, she resumed as normal. So, but she kind of got mad at me when I tried to tell her that. But I was just trying to tell her as a concerned person. I'm just trying to talk to her to tell her not to do that. So then one day, Gloria, she tried to take a bag out. So security was informed to check all bags when they leaving out the building. So she tried to hustle past them, said, okay, hold on, okay, hold on, wait a minute, wait a second, I'll talk to y'all in a second, okay? And she tried to walk out the door, but I was there. I was walking up, I was coming in when she was trying to go out. I said, hey, ho, 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 ho. I said, Gloria, now you know. I said, girl, you got to let them check your bag. And she said, well, why do I got to let them check my bag? I said, because that's their job. And they will get reprimanded if they don't check your bag. So they have to check your bag. So she walked back in. She said, okay, I'm not going out to the car then. But that was it. Then she tried to get out. So I had to inspect the bag. So I told security, I said, inspect the bag. And they stood there looking at each other and stuff. I said, but y'all inspect the bag. But they had grown so close to Gloria that they couldn't see themselves doing it. They couldn't do it. So as the manager on duty, I had to check her bag. And I checked the bag, and the first thing I saw was a bottle. It was 3 bottles of rum or something like that. So she's trying to take it back. I said, no, no, no. Come on, I'm sorry. I took all 3 bottles out of there. And she went back into room service. But I told her come back. I said, no, now, Gloria, why did you do this? She said, no, no, no. I brought this in with me. I brought that in with me. I said, look, Gloria, look, I'm sorry. We're going to have to breathalyze you now. You have to take a breathalyzer test. And if you refuse, that's automatic dismissal, okay? So she talked back and forth for a minute. Then she agreed to take it. But she said, hold on a second. And she went back into room service and shoved a lot of peppermints in her mouth and drank a lot of water. Then she came back out and I said, okay, let's breathalyze you. She didn't know that when you do a breathalyzer, it's not coming from your mouth. It's coming from within, in your stomach area. When you blow it out, it's really coming from internally. Okay? So putting peppermints in her mouth wasn't going to help her. So she blew, and she was it showed that she was impaired. They said a 0.8 is drunk, okay? But she blew a 0.12. So it was off the scale. So it was obvious, and she was kind of stumbling too. She was kind of stumbling and kind of incoherent. Kind of incoherent. So I told her, I said, look, I'm gonna have to write this up. And she said, no. I said, look, don't you know that everything is on camera right now, okay? Everything is on camera. They put hidden cameras all over the place. And I had told her this before. But then now she made me have to do this. And I was angry too. I told her, see, you made me have to do this. I didn't want to do this. You know? So I informed Gloria that she's going to have to leave, okay? So her niece was working there. So her niece was going to drive her home. Because I wasn't going to allow Gloria to drive. But Gloria didn't drive anyway, so when she left, I said, bye, bye. And she said, okay, I see you. So she's supposed to appeal when she came back to Human Resources. She came back and they let her go. So then I received a call from Gloria that night. She said, all right, I'm going to sue because they got rid of me unjustly or something like that. I said, okay, so do what you got to do. But they wasn't letting her back. And that really, really hurt me. It really hurt me, for them not to let her come back. But, well, that was it for her. So after she's been gone for maybe a month or two, all of a sudden I got news that Gloria had passed away. You know why? Because she that job was keeping her from drinking so much. Well, she was drinking at the job, but she wasn't getting a lot of alcohol in her. When she was off, when she was at home, she really drank herself to death. You know, so that was it. You know, and I'm telling you, still to this day, it still hurts me to this day thinking about it. You know, but that's why I don't want to be manager again or nothing position like that. I don't like them have to make me do something that, I know I have to do it, but she made me get rid of her and they made me get rid of her. So it was a lost cause for her. And well, Gloria Gloria passed away, and but I got a chance to tell I'm sorry. I got a chance to tell I'm sorry for what happened. But I said, I did warn you. I warned you. And this she acknowledged that she knew. She knew. So that was it. But anyway, okay, you guys. That's it. That's the end of the story of Gloria. I won't tell the story anymore, but that is the true story. It's true stories from a down brother. Okay? So that's it. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. Okay? And share. Share my videos with your friends. Share them with your family. Share them with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies.
Salamat!